Bonjour everyone, I'm Marie and
Bonjour, I'm Bertrand.
we are the co-founders of My Private Paris. Every week we are doing these videos about Paris and to make you discover our beautiful city. So today we are in the 16th arrondissement and we're going to discover something that is very American. As you will see, we're going to talk about American history and American heroes.
In Paris?
In Paris.
Really?
Yes. This is the very best place for you to discover the legacy of the Franco-American
Friendship.
bound. Yeah, exactly. We're going to start with just right here showing you the sign that is saying Place des États-Unis, because that's how we say it.
Place des États-Unis?
Yeah, the United States of America in French is États-Unis.
Exactly. They have their own squares in Paris.
Let's have a look. So as you can see right here, in the 16th arrondissement, it's the largest arrondissement in Paris. Are you coming often here in Bertrand or in the
Well,
16th?
when I moved to Paris, I lived here, but I was studying hard, so I was not going.
You were living in the 16th?
Oh,
Wow,
yes.
okay. So
I never told you about that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 16th is known to be quite a chic neighborhood.
Very quiet.
Very quiet indeed.
Very chic.
You have here at least 90 different embassies and
Wow.
from all over the world. And at one point, this place here was also the place where we had the American embassy. So that was in 1881, and when the ambassador decided to be here on number 3 of this place, they had to rename the place for that. Because before that, it was not Place des États-Unis. It was named the Place de Beach.
The what?
So in French, actually in France, not very far from Alsace, you have this Lorraine region, and beach is a place that is B-I-T-C-H-E. It's a place where they won this amazing battle, and so they wanted to have Place de Beach in Paris. That makes sense. But in English, it does
Yeah.
mean another thing.
It was good to change the name, right?
So that's why when the American ambassador came here, he said, I can't live here. I mean, this is outrageous. So we need to change that. And that's when they decided, why not, renaming the place Place des États-Unis. But now it's
That's
really
a good story.
It is.
I'm gonna come here more often with people.
So now, because of this history, they decided that will be a good place to put statues, to just make a lot of homage to all those heroes, from the United States. So let's discover that. Yeah?
Yes, please.
I'm going to make a little tour. Let's start over there. So here you can see already a statue of Lafayette and George Washington.
Yeah.
They are shaking hands and they look like the best buddies, and they were apparently, or at least in the mind of Lafayette, Washington was his very best friend. Just so you know, this was made by Bartholdi. You know Bartholdi, no?
Of course, yes. The one who designed the Statue of Liberty?
Yes, and actually the Statue of Liberty, the very first one, the one that served as a maquette, as a model for the big one, was created here. And hold here for one time, you had here at this exact space,
yeah.
you had the first Statue of Liberty in Paris. Now it's in Arts et Métiers Garden, not far from our office. So when the Statue of Liberty, the tiny one, moved, they had to replace it with something else. So that's when they come up with the idea of Lafayette and Washington. You guys probably know way better the life of George Washington, so I won't go into that.
Please, Marie, tell us where he was born and when.
No, I don't know. But I do know more about Lafayette. So I know that he was this young, very brave soldier, and that he wanted to defend, all the good values that he had, like democracy,
Exactly.
even if it, was just this new thing coming up.
Freedom.
But freedom for sure, and that everyone can really have the right to fight for whatever they were looking for.
And
right?
if while fighting for freedom, you're killing a few English people, that was his favorite.
Obviously, yes. In that sense, Lafayette went into the United States, that were not yet independent, to fight with the soldier there. And of course, his dream was to meet with George Washington because he was a true hero in his mind. And so he went there. He was only 17 when he started,
That's true, and it was forbidden. He asked permission to our king, Louis XVI at the time, who said no, but he went anyway.
What do we think about Louis XVI again in France? It's the one that was so Lafayette was doing that was very brave, to just go against the will of his king, but it was for a good reason. So he went there, met with Washington and another one. He led also some battles, and so of course he was a great hero there in the United States. But in France,
He has a very big history, yeah, connected to the French Revolution. At that time, we start to call him the hero of the two worlds, because however he's from the nobility, during the revolution, he is elected as a member of the People's Party, and he's pushing for more reforms, for more freedom and equality for the lower classes, going against his own family. So he became a big star during the revolution.
Yeah, because himself, he was a Marquis de Lafayette. He was born a nobleman. He also married, was it La Duchesse? Yeah, Duchesse de Noailles. So yeah, he was really from the upper level of the society, and he did very well in helping the other ones. When he came back from the United States, he had a son, and he named the son George Washington. Like that was,
didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
George Washington Lafayette. So yeah, so it was, that's why I'm saying they were really best buddies, at least in his mind. So yeah, Lafayette continues his career, as you say, in politics. At one point during the French Revolution, they even thought about him as a president. A little bit. Did you know that? Like during the Bastille time, at the Bastille Day, they were thinking maybe Lafayette could be a good option, but he didn't want the power. That's a great man. When he died, they decided that because he was this man of the two worlds, as you said, it has to be buried in a little bit of a soil of the United States. So that's what they did. They took, of course, it's buried here in France, but they took a little bit of earth there and just to mix it.
That's true.
So is that's why he was both in both of his worlds.
Connected to both lands.
Yeah. But so if you want to know more about Lafayette, you can come in Paris and to learn more with us.
And how the statue, because you see that they're showing each other a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And look, the handshake, they're looking at each other in the eyes. They're standing straight. You see that they fought together, and it's on one way it seems like one is saying thank you, and on the other side is, oh well, thank you for letting me help you.
Okay, let's continue on Place des États-Unis. There is much more to see. So you can see on the corner left, this is the Baccarat Museum. Used to be,
yes.
the crystal, crystal Baccarat. And very recently, they filmed here an episode in Emily in Paris.
No way!
Yes!
More Americans in Paris.
Because there is this beautiful restaurant called the Crystal Room, and that's...
that's where they filmed the ball.
Apparently, yes. I couldn't be there on that day. They didn't invite me, but I would have loved to, be here for seeing this ball of Baccarat.
You need to call them again and be in season 5 now.
Yes. As you can see, there is also the name Ducasse, and Ducasse is the chef that is the most starred chef in the world.
That's
true. I think
yeah.
Like more than 30 something. I will need to check that, but.
Alain Ducasse, he's got his own dinner cruise line now.
Yes, there is Ducasse sur Seine, there is Ducasse Chocolate, there is, Just so you know, so this entire square here, it's called the Thomas Jefferson Square. So Thomas Jefferson, but we are talking about Thomas Jefferson in a lot of tours, because he, in the Latin Quarter, we're talking about Thomas Jefferson because he was in Le Procope. He was like having dinner in this beautiful cafe in the Sixth, sorry. He was also known to be a big bookworm. Yes. So he loved to take the books from the bookinis.
Exactly, yeah, that's a great story. Going by the Seine, all these little book booths, and we love to say that the Library of Congress was started with a book that he purchased here from the bookinist in Paris. Doesn't have to be true, it's a good story still.
But yeah, Thomas Jefferson for sure is a character that we have, everywhere in Paris. It's like Benjamin Franklin. So whenever we think about those two men, they were living in so many different places and did so many things. Benjamin Franklin, he did live in the 16th arrondissement as well. We're not looking, today we're not going to see where exactly it was, because it was a little bit further.
I think on the Champs-Élysées there is a building where there's a big plaque on it that says this is where Thomas Jefferson was living while he was ambassador of the US in Paris.
Yeah, because so I told you that this place became the place for the ambassador only in 1881. Before that, it changed a lot. It was actually in 3 different arrondissements before that. So during the time of Thomas Jefferson, it wasn't an ambassador here. So makes sense. Let's continue a bit further because there is another character that you need to know more about. This statue, Bertrand, is someone that you have to thank every day. Like this
mom.
guy, no, it's even better than your mom.
Really?
Sorry,
All
I
right,
have to
let's
say.
try. Let's try.
Okay, so this guy, and that's for all of you, that's the same. He invented the anesthesia. Like without him, you would have been suffering, especially in dental surgery, or anything that has to be now with anesthesia, like operation and going to the surgeon. So who is Horace Wells? He was a little bit of a scientist, but he was very, let's say, passionate about circus things. Circus, like acrobats and clowns. And so one day, he went to this circus place, and he saw clowns that were like hurting each other, but they were laughing about it. Like they were just like, they didn't really feel the pain. So he was like, oh, that's intriguing. Like how they do that. So he was, and then he looked more, what they were actually doing. And at one point, one of them was really just putting a big nail, like a metallic nail, into one another, and the guy was still laughing and still didn't,
As you do, yeah.
As you do. So he was really intrigued, and he was like, what is going on? I need to ask them, like, how do they do that? Is it a trick? Is it real? And so he did ask them, and the guy said that they were using this, how to say, Hilarion gas.
All right.
And so with this, apparently you didn't feel the pain. So they were using it more like as a little, artifact for, how do you say that? Special effects, exactly. But in reality, it worked, and it worked so well that he said, okay, I will do like all the tests with this gas, and to see if this gas can really annihilate all the pain. And so he did on himself a lot of experiments.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Until the day that he wanted to show that to the public. And because he was a scientist, of course, the people were like, okay, maybe your thing works. But they were really skeptical. Like, obviously, like you say,
yes, please try it on yourself.
I have a gas, and with this gas, you are not feeling any pain. People were like, what the? And so they tried on someone that had an issue with his tooth. And so he put the gas, but somehow it didn't really work well. Because the guy, when, the dentist came and just like took the tooth out, he was just screaming and shouting, and the people were like, oh, okay, this is ridiculous. This is a joke. Like, this is not working. And he was desperate because he knew that this thing was working, and somehow this experiment was failing. So he went here in Paris, he came here in Paris, and he changed completely his life. He just dropped the science and say, okay, I'm a failure, so I'm better being maybe an artist. Why not? So he started like dating, but he really went down, like really down into, let's say, depression. And during the time that he was living in Paris and doing completely something else, other people in the United States continue experimenting, and they did find out that this was working, but he never knew that. Like on the other side, it was never told. So he did, ended his life very sadly. He was, an addict at one point. He was sniffing ether. This other gas, so he was really into gas. And he became addicted to that and became crazy about it, so he ended in prison, hanging himself. So really like the lowest, of the story. I'm sorry.
That is still better than my mom?
No, but it's not, that's not the story. I'm just thinking that this guy died not knowing that he actually brought it, and he actually made the huge difference in science. And so now we have this tiny statue and this name, but it's not as known as other scientists, so it's not an Einstein or anything, but but thanks to him, so you can see here on the side, you see they written novateur de l'anesthésie chirurgicale, so the one that really is creating at the time the first anesthesia. So thank you, Horace Wells.
Well, thank you, buddy. Yes.
So Place des États-Unis is not just about the scientists and the war. It's also about artists. Here on this place we had a lot of artists, surrealists, that came here in the Crystal Baccarat room. By the time it wasn't that. It was an hôtel particulier of Madame de Noailles, and she was a model for Salvador Dali, for example, but also for Man Ray. And she really hosted all those people here. So you had artists.
That must have been crazy parties.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So the painters were over there, but we also have another artist, writer this time. She was living just right here, and she's an American. So let's have a look. It's Edith Wharton. I don't know if you can see the plaques from here. So Edith Wharton, as you can see here, it's 1862, 1937. So she was born in New York. And she became the very first woman in literature to get the Pulitzer Prize in 1921. And she was living for a little while in this house. And so yeah, I think you talk about the Age of Innocence. That's
the book she.
That's the known book that's received the prize.
Novel.
Yeah.
And she died not too far from Paris, in the Val d'Oise department.
How familiar are you with the First World War?
Well, I wasn't there, but I'm more familiar with the second one.
Okay, because
why?
But we know, of course, that during the Second World War we had all these allies coming, the Canadians, the Australians, a lot of Americans also came. But did you know that during the First World War we also had a little bit of Americans that came here? Did you know that? It's not as known, like, of course, in the United States, you know that, guys. But in France, we don't really talk about this history. But it's very important also that some people that were under the name of l'Escadron Lafayette came here during the First World War because they felt that Lafayette did help United States to be created and to save the Americans for, the English. So they wanted to pay back in a way with, their support and their lives. So that was very important.
Ooh, I remember a movie with Brad Pitt where Brad Pitt is coming to France as an American volunteer.
During the First World War?
Yeah. Okay,
so I don't know this movie, but
I'll say it to you.
I'm saying that because here we also have a war monument, a war memorial.
For the First World War?
For the First World War. So we are standing in front of this memorial that is really for, this friendship between United States and France. We had Lafayette and Washington over there. Now we have this war memorial. And in this case, Bertrand, can you guess who is the French and who is the American?
I'll say the American is the one there on the right.
Of course, yeah. So the American is the one that looks like Elvis Presley, like very handsome man with, he doesn't really need his uniform. You see, he has as you can see the detail here. It's very, like you say, it's la classe. And on the other side is this French man, le poilu, with his old uniform and being, very thankful, obviously. I love this statue because, there is, this impression that the American is way taller than the French also. But, that's that's little detail that I know. So after the First World War, l'Escadrille Lafayette continues. I don't know if it's still on today. It did continue during the World War II, they came also. And it's interesting because on the flag of l'Escadrille Lafayette, you have a Native American that is represented on it. And you have also this sign that is like Vatiska cross. And you have all the stars for freedom. Should we continue? Yeah? Okay.
Please.
Sorry, we're going to talk about a war again, but it's the Independence War. So it's just war and war and war, but now it's peace. So you never came here, Bertrand? It's your first time?
No, I actually have never been in that section of Paris. I'm a bit ashamed to say that on tape.
Well, it's true that 16 is not. This part of the 16 is not very touristy, so that's why also it's nice to show it on this film today.
As a student, I was living in the 16th, but in the lower section.
Yeah.
And I didn't come all the way up here.
Yeah.
I was by the Maison de la Radio, and where is the Statue of Liberty, very close to that.
So just by the Place des États-Unis, there is this tiny monument, I would say, in the honor of the Amiral de Grasse, because Lafayette was not the only French that came to help during the Independence War. We also had the Amiral de Grasse, so he was coming by boat to Yorktown, as Lafayette was coming from north and divided with the troop of Washington, so he was coming by feet. And we have another one, Rochambeau, but we're going to talk about Rochambeau in just a minute because it's not far from de Grasse. So here, this little plaque, and this little space is, to remember what De Grasse made for the United States.
There are paintings of De Grasse and Rochambeau and the Battle of Yorktown in the Palace of Versailles.
Oh.
Which were made at the time and are shown today, but they were made for the king and the court, so they a bit like a news report of what had happened. Okay. They're very, very beautiful painting. One has even been finished with a single hairbrush, so to have a very, very precise detail, because there are thousands of characters in the paintings, and so to have this battle.
And it's in the this Gallery of the Battles? Is that located?
Some are in the Gallery of Battles, but I think the most interesting one are located in what we call the private apartment of the king, which are not open to the general public. You need to go with your guide, and you see.
Need to go with us.
And pick me. Yes, it's in between the dining room and the table game room of the king, that you see all these paintings that were private to him.
Okay, cool.
So that's great to see that.
Nice. Okay, let's continue.
Who is that guy, Marie?
You're talking about this statue here?
Yeah.
That's Rochambeau.
He's so classy.
He is, but he's again in a French.
I want the same hat.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at Rochambeau.
That's the Rochambeau.
So as you can see, this statue was offered. So it's kind of a gift that and the French and the American wanted to give to Paris. So you have here the date of Rochambeau, 1725 to 1807. So it's really during this period that everything changed, and for the United States and for France.
And for France, yeah. By the way, I'm pretty good at Rochambeau.
What do you mean?
You don't know Rochambeau?
No. What is Rochambeau?
Come on, guys. Well, in French we call it rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You do scissors.
Yeah. Okay.
Paper or a rock. Right?
But what is Rochambeau?
I learned that going with American school groups. In French we would say Shifumi or thing like this.
Yeah.
They say Rochambeau.
No.
Yeah.
Rochambeau. Okay, let's do it. Just like that. I don't have to. Okay.
Rochambeau.
I will do it again. Rochambeau.
Ah!
I win.
Yes. You're welcome.
I love it. So this statue representing Rochambeau is pointing, you see his finger is really pointing to the United States direction. So if we follow Rochambeau, we're going to find, America. But also the Eiffel Tower.
And also the Eiffel Tower, true. Oh yeah, right, just there.
So the statue is located very not far from the Palais Galleria, which is the fashion museum.
Yes, of course.
And so, of course, we're going to show you what it is from the outside. But also, you have to understand that this part of the 16, it's called the neighborhood of Chaillot. You have different neighborhoods in the 16. It's the largest neighborhood in the arrondissement in Paris. It's so large that even for the address, did you know that? Oh yeah, because you lived here. On your address, was it 75016 or 75116?
It was 75116.
So
She's good.
So the 16 is so large that we need 2 zip codes to divide the neighborhood. But at first it was even 3 villages: Auteuil, Passy, and Chaillot. That's it. So the neighborhood of the 16 is really big. It was 3 villages. It was Auteuil, Passy, and Chaillot. So here we are in the Chaillot district, which Chaillot means a little rock, because we're very rocky.
It's the hill where the Arch of Triumph is on the rock of Chaillot.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So and so Passy is known to be a bit more chic.
A bit more, very chic.
Very chic. And Auteuil will be more rustic, more like the true village with the field, let's say.
Well, the 16th is part of the second number of arrondissement, because the first time we had arrondissement in Paris, it was from 1 to 12.
Okay.
And there was an expression back then in Paris, which was to get married at the town hall of the 13th district, which did not exist, and which meant to live with somebody else, not being married, which was really badly considered. in the society of the time. And so when the new districts were added to Paris in 1816, the 16th should have become the 13th district, because they wanted to do a second role. Okay. And obviously for the people living here who were very conservative, very bourgeois, living in the 13th district was not acceptable, because both it meant to live as an unmarried couple, and number 13 is not usually a lucky number.
Yeah, 13, especially for the Catholics, right? It's always like very bad luck.
So that's why instead of restarting a whole loop from the southwest, they moved from the 12th, and then we ended up in the 16th.
So they really fought to not be the 13th.
To not be the 13th.
Not nice for the 13th district, but
no, we're very sorry. If you live in the 13th district, we're very sorry about
But we will do a video in the 13th, because now it's very known for the street art. It's also a Chinese community is now there, so it is a very nice.
And the Butokai village.
Yeah, Butokai village, very very nice district indeed. But it's interesting to know that the 16th didn't want it to be the 13th. Let's continue and see the Musée Galliera.
Right.
In this neighborhood, a lot of names of streets, of avenues are linked with the American history, such as Avenue de New York, just right here. You have also President Wilson Avenue here. This is very known for the markets. There is a fresh food market on President Wilson Avenue. But we also have Kennedy. We have also
President Kennedy.
Yeah, Franklin and Roosevelt being a metro station. So in this neighborhood, we have a lot of things.
Streets of Washington.
Yeah. So beside the statues, there is more in this neighborhood for that.
Really beautiful.
It's really beautiful. It does look a little bit like the Petit Palais or those Jacques Marandré, those museums where you feel comfortable and cozy.
And you want to party.
Okay. Yeah.
No?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
come on.
Yeah. It is a nice place to rent for a wedding or
the 10 years of my private Paris.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So, Palais Galleria. Why this name is because there is this duchess. She's coming from Italy. She's named Ferrari, but but she's also Duchess of Galleria.
And the red jacket.
Yeah. So she's living in Paris. She has beautiful art collection of paintings and sculpture coming from Italy, and she wants to provide friends and to just buy this new place and just make it the greatest museum of new Italian art. So that's why on the building you see it's written peinture, architecture, sculpture. So that's the purpose of Musée Galliera. But what is happening and why this museum is not an arts museum and it became a fashion museum. So when she was living here, she had the greatest friendship with the Orléans family during the time of the Republic, and so was so at the time we had Bonaparte family that was still trying to get the power. We had the monarchy that was also not very far, so people were just waiting for the good moment, let's say. And so she was in the monarchy side.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. And so she had this amazing party just right here, where she was celebrating the engagement of one of the daughter of the Orléans family. And it was the starting point of, let's say,
an outrage, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the government was really, really tired of them celebrating and just saying, yeah, of course, monarchy will come back one day. And they were like, okay, I think that's now the good time for chasing them out of France. So all the people that were related to families that at one point reigned on France, they were cast away. They were chased away. So that's what happened. That's
exactly the moment where the owner of the Chantilly castle was cast away.
Oh, the Prince de Condé?
And he was from the Orléans family.
Okay.
So that's great.
I
never made a connection between the two. Yeah, because they thought, all right, we're going to come back to power, the Republic's never going to work. All right. So we end up with two museums thanks to that rule.
Exactly, Chantilly and this one.
Good move, Republic.
So this one was finished, but it was empty. I mean, she said, if I'm going, I'm taking my art with me. So that's why this became an empty museum, and later on we decided this will be the fashion museum, the Musée de la Mode. Here you can see sometime Yves Saint Laurent collection. It's always exhibitions that are changing all the time, so it could be on one designer at a time. And right now you have something about sport and fashion and how the bathing suits in the 19th century, for example, were made and things like that. So that's pretty fun. Just in front of Musée Galleria, you have another museum called Palais de Tokyo, which is the Contemporary Art Museum of Paris. Because it's here, let's have a look. And
Sure.
the view on it, it's really marvelous, you will see. So the style, the architecture is very different, as you can see.
Yes.
So
Very cold.
over there we were in the 19th century. Here we're really in the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century, during this, World's Fair. In 1937, and we have the Trocadero that is made on the Colline de Chaillot, over there, and you have the Palais de Tokyo that became Palais de.
It changed its name. Yeah, it was renamed Palais of New York because the boulevard that passed by the side of it is Avenue of New York.
Yeah.
And then it was renamed Palais of Tokyo.
And right now you have Palais de Tokyo and the Museum of Modern Art that are front to each other, so it's the same building. So here it's where you have really the most contemporary creation, and so it's very unusual, let's say, museum, Palais de Tokyo. But the view from here, from the restaurant, is excellent, so let's have a look and you will discover it in a minute.
You don't think it's the fashion museum? No, we changed. What a view!
That's the view from Palais de Tokyo. So of course everyone is coming here, having a cup of coffee, and just watching this amazing view. So we also have fountains downstairs. So yeah, it's very beautiful. The Eiffel Tower here. Maybe you can tell a little bit about it.
Oh, that is the Eiffel Tower.
How is it linked with the United States?
Well. The Eiffel Tower that we see out there was designed by Mr. Eiffel, Gustave Eiffel, who happens to be also the man who built the structure within the Statue of Liberty that allows the big statue by Bartholdi. You mentioned him at the beginning of the video.
Bartholdi made the outside, right? Only.
Bartholdi designed the statue, created the first model, and then asked Gustave Eiffel to help him build the statue at a much bigger scale, and of course you need to have a strong structure inside, and so it is built in the design of the Eiffel construction, which the Eiffel Tower is the most emblematic example.
Yeah, and it's also not far where you're going to see the huge Statue of Liberty, or for us.
It's located on a small island right at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, and that one is a gift from the US in 1889. So just 3 years after we sent the Statue of Liberty, the US offered another copy to us.
So we could have one here.
And they both face each other with the Atlantic Ocean in the middle, of course.
So we have the Statue of Liberty over there. We have also 4 smaller ones.
Yes.
In Paris, so Luxembourg Garden.
Don't say it all!
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying where they are. Come and make a tour with us. But we also have the flame. You know the flame that she's holding, the statue?
That's true.
That's on Pont de l'Alma. It's beautiful golden flame. It's linked with
Just
another
by the
story.
river there?
Just right there. So yeah, so it's interesting to see all those pieces, and also because it was built here in the 16th arrondissement. The factories were actually here in this neighborhood where they built all those parts.
All the pieces
of the statue. That's pretty cool too. So we just went up Avenue du Président Wilson to find here the statue of George Washington on a horse. This statue was offered by a group of women, an association of women, an American women that are Francophile, and so they wanted to, for us to have a beautiful, statue of George Washington alone on his horse. This time, no Lafayette, and it's located right here again in this, American neighborhood of Paris. From here, from Washington statue, if you continue that way, you have the Trocadero, and
Eiffel Tower.
And with the Eiffel Tower, obviously. And if you continue down that way, that's where you have the flame, the flame of the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, it's really just the central point for everything that is linked with American history.
Thank you, Marine.
Thank you for watching this and to follow me in the 16. I hope you guys found this neighborhood quite intriguing and all this story link with United States history.
I learned a lot. It's not an area where you go easily or not. I mean, easily, but naturally.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was interesting.
It's not very far from the main. I would say the main hotels such as George V, for example, or all the Champs-Élysées. It's very nearby. So that's probably for you guys when you're gonna come and visit Paris. It's gonna be probably your neighborhood. We're gonna make other videos by the weeks coming. So thank you so much for watching. You can like, you can subscribe, you can comment under this video.
And share it with your friends.
Yes, if you have other thematic that you'll be interested in, of course, we'll be happy to film something for you guys. So thanks so much
Merci.
and au revoir.